The paperclip pays host to round 14 of the Thursday Night Thunder Series. Aiden Norman has control of the field. Toby Estes by his side. 200 laps, not 250 laps at the paperclip. Green flag is out. Norman leads at Martinsville. Toby Estes behind him. Noah Belleville in that number 41 going to the inside. Toby Estes, Briley Wright, Cody Riggs. Those three drivers making up the Bluegrass Bandits, trying to get just one more win as we keep on moving on. If you missed us last week, it's because we weren't racing. It was Thanksgiving. And we were, there's already a crash as I'm trying to make jokes. Noah Belleville's up in the wall. He's going to be motionless, but he keeps on moving. And it looks like Jeannie's in the chat as well. She says, let's go racing, as Noah Belleville gets a spin out of turn number 4. Let's see what happened to the 41. Oh, he just comes up right in front of Toby Estes, and Estes turns left, trying to get around Noah Belleville. And the number 41, Haas Chevrolet, takes a big spin, and Belleville now running in the 13th position. Aiden Norman leading rookie Brandon Fetterplace by 2.8 seconds already. How about Ryan Pennell with Virginian Tommy Withers behind him? They're going to be busy all night doing that, just turning hard to the left. Ryan Pennell already on the outside. He's got the 2.9. That's going to be Briley right to his inside. One of the Bluegrass Bandits trying to make hay while the sun is still shining at Martinsville. The 31 of Matthew Kent to the inside of car number 12. And Season 4 champion Thomas Andrews behind the both of them. The number 3 of Cody Riggs looks like he's gotten up into the wall, and one of those Bluegrass Bandits from the Bluegrass State. Now sitting behind Briley Wright in that 2.9. Winner 2 weeks ago at the Atlanta Motor Speedway in a photo finish with this driver in that 41, Noah Belleville. Landon's in the house cheering for the Bluegrass Bandits, and he says he wishes Aiden Norman well. Norman comes into this race looking to clinch the TNT championship. He's going to have to gain quite a lot of points, though. There he is ahead of Briley Wright in those TNT standings. Where's that gap? 61 points, and I think Aiden's going to have to be 108, the gap, to beat Briley, so it's going to be tough for him to clinch this title, but still possible. And doing a good job so far. He's ahead of Brandon Fetterplace by 4.5 seconds, and we're only 12 laps into this race. Toby Estes now trying to bother the rookie for another spot up the tree. That's Estes going for second. Estes now up the inside, gets around the rookie, and car number 8 makes it up to second place. Brandon Fetterplace in third, Tommy Withers in the 4th position. Tom Sears sitting in 5th, Briley Wright and Cody Riggs now battling for the spot. The number 3 Budweiser Chevy up next to that 2-9. Kenton, the 3-1, wants a piece of Cody Riggs. Belleville back on the move, the 41. Around Richie Catania, now working on Thomas Andrews. Cody Riggs with Matt Kent all the way behind him, and Brandon Fetterplace still in 3rd. Virginian Tommy Withers. Hometown flavor tonight in that number 6. Two-time TNT champion Tom Sears just behind him in that 5th position. Sears looking up the inside on Withers, and he just won't force the issue yet. We're only 18 laps into this race. Cheney saying we got started so late. I started watching the race and thought it was an older one. Well, we do have a lot of one. We do have a lot of them. We've been doing this for what, 7 seasons now? 16 rounds in this 7th season. So this is what, 3 races to go, including this one. Next week at the Talladega Super Speedway, and then the final round at Homestead Miami Speedway. And bear with us just a second while we fix a couple of visual things here, and we'll get ourselves back on track. And we're good to go again. Sorry about that hold up. If it's not one thing, it's another. Seems like something always goes wrong with the visuals, and, you know, they're my visuals, so it's 100% on me. You'd think I'd just get us started a little earlier and prepare on these things, but whatever. We're good to go. We're also going to fix a couple of these incorrect facts in the track facts. What did I say? I thought it was 250 laps tonight. I was wrong. Maybe I should bother to check the track facts while I'm at it as well. Tom Sears now coming up behind Brandon Fetterplace. Again, this is the move for the 3rd position. The rookie holding on to that bronze medal spot pretty well. And then if you look in the distance, the Bluegrass Bandits are coming as well. Wright in the 2-9, Riggs in the 3. Toby Estes already up to 2nd in that 8 car. 5 3/4 seconds behind Aiden Norman. And over the last 5 laps, Toby Estes is starting to chip away at the defending champion. Well, not that time around, but take a look this time through. Look at that green in 3 of those laps. Toby Estes is getting close. We'll see what the clock says this time. Toby Estes in that 2nd spot right now. 5.6 the gap to Aiden Norman. He's not chipping enough away to make a big difference. Look at Cody Riggs, who's just gotten into the wall out of turn number 4. What happened to the 3 car? You just get loose off the corner. Oh, this is the lap prior. Not sure what happened to Cody Riggs. There it is. Just puts way too much gas into it. Look at Thomas Andrews. Also putting way too much gas into it, really hanging the tail out of that 4th corner. So Riggs is going to drop down to the 8th position. Matt Kent is still behind him. Further on back, Jimmy Kerr's going to try and pass Thomas Andrews. Kerr still working on that number 2. And that's the battle for the 11th position. At the front, Aiden Norman still pulling away from Toby Estes, while Tom Sears has gotten around Brandon Fetterplace. Here's the pass for 3rd. Just opens up the line off that final corner, and Sears marches on forward. So Tom Sears sitting in 3rd now. Jimmy Kerr now with Richie Catania up ahead, the number 2 for Nicorette Chevrolet, the Central Floridian, now behind the number 2 Dodge of Thomas Andrews. It's a really tough track to get with, though, because you find yourself just having to struggle between trying to go fast but understanding that you cannot burn up those tires because you only get 4 tire changes in this race. Drivers expected to go between 75 and 85 laps on 1 tank of fuel. We're caution-free so far in these first 34 laps. How about Thomas Andrews getting out of shape there in that number 2 car? And he's going to make contact with the 2-4 just barely. You just saw him hang out there too. Watch this. Thomas Andrews is going to pass Richie Catania. Richie's going to try and throw it deep into turn number 3, and Richie almost gets himself in a huge bit of trouble. But Richie's back in fighting shape. Now he's been lapped by Aiden Norman, but still trying to get around Thomas Andrews. So the race leader, Norman, 6.3 seconds ahead of Toby Estes. 37 laps about to be completed. And Cody Riggs has decided he's going to come into the pits. Cody Riggs has just spun the 3. He brings it to a halt, backs it up, and tries to get back onto the track. What happened to Riggs? Gave it a really hard spin, and he does keep it off the wall. Good move for Riggs. But unfortunate that he spun again. Both Riggs and Thomas Andrews really hung the tail out. So Cody Riggs in the 3 now trying to get back into his racing shape. Norman up 6 1/3 seconds on this man right here. Toby Estes, Tom Sears, 3 seconds adrift of them. Meanwhile, Noah Belleville trying to catch up to Briley Wright. Belleville hangs the tail out of the corner there. Is he going to hold on to the position? Briley Wright might smell some blood in the water. Jimmy Kerr now trying to hit a home run here. Score his first win, and here I am trying to make baseball puns as Kerr's trying to get around the baseball cart. Thomas Andrews spilling his beer on the side of the racetrack. That Miller Lite Dodge just trying to hold on to it. He's in the top 10, but Richie Catania starting to catch him up. Matt Kent, the number 31 All-Star Game Budweiser Chevy, trying to hold off Jimmy Kerr, and here comes race leader Aiden Norman. Brandon Fetterplace got back into 3rd. He passed Tom Sears for the position. Sears going way too high. Oh, he really overcooked that corner. Brandon Fetterplace making light work of him. Noah Belleville, this is him getting around Briley Wright some laps earlier. It was on lap 40. Tom Sears will go to work again against the rookie. Kind of get dizzy watching the race from this angle right over here. Brandon Fetterplay still in that third spot. We're still caution free after running 48 laps at the Martinsville Speedway. Tommy Withers in that number 6 car, one of the native Virginians in tonight's race. Now catching up to Tom Sears. Further on back, Thomas Andrews now wants a piece of Jimmy Kerr. Fetterplace has gone around. Richie Catania's gone around too. 50 laps in, caution number 1 comes out at Martinsville. There goes Fetterplace. Curse of the commentator, I guess. I was just talking about how we'd gone caution-free for, what, 47, 48 laps. Let's see what happened to the 3-4. The rookie Fetterplace. Oh, Richie Catania goes around first. Nowhere for Fetterplace to go. And Catania gets vaulted into the air by Tommy Withers, who I think he was also trying to avoid the 3-4. Take a look at the 6. He just slams on the brakes trying to avoid that, and he gets clipped by the 34 of Fetterplace. Let's see what happened with Richie Catania. Not a fun sound to hear, those race cars crunching together. And this is Fetterplace again. Catania goes around. Nothing the 3-4 can do. Withers also involved. And caution number 1 comes out at the paperclip. Aiden Norman still your race leader. Fans, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a 2-minute break and be back for more of these awesome 700 horsepower monsters at Martinsville. We'll see you in 2. back to TNT Racing in just a moment here. We're joined by Aiden Norman up in the booth. Aiden, you just let us know in the chat, major server issues, couple of cars dropped, a bunch of us just kept disappearing, caution's going to be extended, and that's where we're at now, right now, buddy. All these cars disappeared. I thought that my internet straight up died.
Yeah, no, it's the servers, I think.
It is the servers. All right, so, okay, well, let's do this.
I am back out on track now, and we're getting our laps back, anyone who dropped.
All right, so we're going to try and rejoin here and see what we can do, Aiden. I appreciate you keeping us up to date, buddy. About the race so far, you've got this thing by the neck. You had a 7-second lead before all these race cars dropped. Grandma Jeannie is asking, why don't we see anyone else chatting? Maybe on the YouTube side of things, Jeannie, I'm not sure. But Aiden's in the Twitch chat as well. But anyway, Aiden, about that race, I mean, what's the difference between you and the rest of the competition where you've just got 6-7 seconds on the rest of the field? Everybody else is within a second of each other.
I think that run, part of it was them battling early behind me. I know I got a solid 2-3 seconds just for free off of that, but beyond that, just the consistency. I'm able to hit my marks and just every time not really missing the corner by too much.
Doing a fantastic job so far here. I'm trying to load back into the session myself. Hopefully, we'll get reconnected and we'll get good to go. We're going to let you get back to work, and it looks like we have race cars back out on the racetrack. So I'm going to let you get back to work. We still need to rejoin and get some reconnections fixed, and we're going to get back to some fun, man. Thank you so much for keeping us up to date.
Yep, no problem, Rick.
All right, fans, we do apologize, but hey, check it out. This time, it wasn't my mistake, right? This time, it's not something that's on my end, so I'll take that as a small victory. We're going to try and fire this back up here, and we'll get going in just a moment. I appreciate you folks sticking with me. And while we're at it, let's bring up these NFL scores. Someone has to, right? Who's even playing tonight? Jacksonville and somebody else? I have no idea. We're about to find out. Pistons are tied at 69 with the Knicks. Heat are up. No, Heat are down. That sucks. Pacers are up 80-72 on the Heat in the third quarter. Red Wings are up 4-1 over the Blackhawks. Go Wings. Liverpool won today, 4-0 over LASK. But where is this football game? There we go. Cowboys and Seahawks. I thought I said the Jaguars, but I think they play Monday. Cowboys are up 17-7 on the Seahawks with 11:37 to go in the second quarter. Sit tight. We're going to get going in just a moment. But we appreciate you sticking with us while we deal with iRacing's server issues. And again, I'm just happy it's not me this time. We'll be back in a minute. Fans at home, we are pleased to be back. We've got everything sorted out here. We've got Thomas Andrews in the house. Tommy, is this the green flag? Are we going this time by?
I think we're going green this time by.
All right, we're going green this time by. What happened? Server issues?
Server issues.
All right, buddy. Get back to work here. Hopefully we see you at the front. Good luck. All right, so server issues crippled us for a little bit. That first caution, kind of good timing. That first caution happened. At least it didn't happen under green flag racing. But there's the green flag again after a long wait. Toby Estes to the front. Aiden Norman 3 wide out of turn number 1, and the Bluegrass Bandits go to the top. Grandma Jeannie's having fun watching these race cars go around Martinsville, and we hope you are too. Grandma, I hope your Thanksgiving was fantastic. Shout out to Moneypenny as well. Landon, I hope all y'all's Thanksgiving was just fantastic. After that pit stop, Aiden Norman is on the move with Tommy Withers to his outside, and the defending champion looking to break the single season record, pick up win number 8 on the season. And the 62 coming up behind that 2-9 of Briley Wright. He wants third. Belleville, he wants another win in his part-time TNT season. He comes in not even fighting for any big points, just another victory. 16th in those standings. He sits second right now. Toby Estes 1.8 seconds ahead. Briley Wright on the outside of Tommy Withers, with Matt Kent now to his inside, on board with, I was going to say last week's winner, not last week's winner, but the winner of the last race at the Martinsville Speedway, on board with Briley Wright. .29 in that 5th spot. Matt Kent sitting behind him. And Tom Sears now trying to get a piece of Matt Kent. Jimmy Kerr in that 75 wants to get up to Brandon Fetterplace in that 3-4. Tom Sears in the 14 gets up alongside the wall, as does Thomas Andrews. Riggs in the 3 now sits ahead of Richie Catania in that 2-4. Donald Ray in the 5, not with us. He's not dead or anything, he just didn't start the race. Toby Estes still leading with Noah Belleville behind him. 1.6 seconds the gap, and then there's the defending champion Norman in 3rd. And over the last 5 laps, that is what the difference has looked like. Norman in the 6-2, still on the prowl. Noah Belleville 1 second ahead. Briley Wright on the inside of Tommy Withers. Here's the pass for 4th. And Withers concedes. Tom Sears just behind him in that 1-4. Matt Kent up 6 places from where he started. Brandon Fetterplace down 4 places from where he started. Fetterplace trying to get around that 3-1 of Matt Kent. Jimmy Kerr in 9th, inviting Thomas Andrews to get to him. But how about Richie Catania, who wants a piece of Cody Riggs? They're both 2 laps down, and they're battling for 12th. Richie sent it in really deep. He's overcooked it. He slides it wide. Ryan Pinnell tries to avoid. And the native, another one of those Virginia drivers in tonight's race, just swings it a little bit wide out of turn number 4. And the driver of that number 12, Georgia Bulldogs Taurus, now battling with Jimmy Kerr coming out of that second corner. Battles all over the place. Battling, straight battling is what they're provoking. Aiden Norman now to the inside of Noah Belleville. 41 has to give up the spot, just could not catch up. Have a look at that pass. 41 just overcooked it. He just couldn't catch up with how much he had lost, and by then Norman was already gone. A textbook for Norman. So now the chase is on. 2.25 seconds between Aiden Norman and Toby Estes, and now we need to start watching the clock. We need to see just how those times stack up. Lap 80 about to be complete. Lap 82. Estes quicker still. Aiden Norman not able to hang with the Bluegrass Bandit, Toby Estes. This is going to get good. And one car seems to have gone around outside of turn number 4. Who is it? Just a lot of smoke in the pits there. Still a lot of smoke. Was it Withers in the 6? It was Withers in the 6. Sears catches up to him. Fetter Place just can't get around him. Oh, how about Ryan Pennell, who gets right into Withers in the 6. They make some heavy contact, and the 6 car has to keep it pushing. But Tom Sears, a little bit of contact, and, well, a little bit for Sears, a lot for Withers. He's still in the 9th position, however. Withers is going to come down into the pits, and this might be a good opportunity for him to get some much-needed repairs. All the drivers coming down under that first caution on lap number 50. Toby Estes, 2.5 seconds ahead of Aiden Norman. Can you imagine if the Bluegrass Bandits win again and again and again? Norman still going for that single-season record of 8 wins, but the Bandits just too strong. An amazing photo finish 2 weeks ago at Atlanta. If you did not see that finish, Briley Wright winning 2 weeks ago at Atlanta. The week before that, Briley Wright getting the victory at Rockingham. And then even the week before that, at the Michigan Speedway, it was Toby Estes getting the victory in the number 8 Budweiser Chevrolet. 3 wins in a row for the Bluegrass Bandits, looking to make it 4. And this championship is far from over. Briley Wright comes into this race second in the point standings. 61 markers. It's not close. Let's be real. Don't let me fool you. It is not close by any stretch, but it is also very far from over. .62 of Aiden Norman sits ahead of Noah Belleville still. 7 wins this season, and then Toby Estes 2.5 seconds ahead. Up 1 place from where he started, and still trying to bring the championship down to its final round. Nothing but mayhem at the Martinsville Speedway. Noah Belleville trying to hold on to Aiden Norman, but 1 second is the gap now. Further on back from the top 3, Briley Wright, who won 2 weeks ago. Oh boy. That is not good. It's happened again. Oh, we're good. We're good. All right, okay. Well, hopefully it's not more server issues, but that was not good. If one car blinks, it's their problem. If every car blinks, it's my problem. We need cars to have a race, don't we? And these two are going to be racing hard. Now, this isn't for position, but Tom Sears will just give up the spot to Tommy Withers, who got fresh tires, and the number 6 is on the move. Despite Withers being 2 laps down, he is the first car 2 laps down. And he just got tires. If the cautions fall in his favor, he could be the first car 1 lap down if he does not come down pit road. It's kind of like kicking an onside kick, right? You're really going to need a lot of fortune here, but he can make this work. At the front, 2.7 seconds the gap between this man here, Toby Estes, going for his 2nd win in 4 weeks. Toby sits 5th in the point standings. Only 1 win this season, and that was at Michigan, we just mentioned. Only 16 points outside of the top 3. Brandon Fetterplace is 5 positions behind him, and that makes up the 16 points right there. Still so much to play for with 2.5 races remaining. Fetterplace in that 3-4, trying to hunt down the 2-time champion. You can just hear the cars. Are they clutching it into the corner? Have a listen with Fetterplace. Is he pushing the clutch? No, none of these guys sound like they're holding in the clutch. I must be going crazy. We'll see just how far the 8 car goes, though. At this pace, he's the leader at halfway. We now have 100 laps to go at the paperclip. Toby Estes leading in that 8 car. Richie Catania is going to drift his way around turn number 1, and he just holds on to it. But I mean barely. Belleville starting to catch up to Aiden Norman. Again, 0.6, only the gap. And you can see it's not consistent. They're not pulling away from each other. They're not necessarily getting too much closer to each other. But now Norman starting to show his pace consistently quicker than Toby Estes. Let's go on board with the 6-2. It's still a long, long championship away. Aiden Norman would need approximately 100 points to clinch the title today. But the guy that he has to get the guy that he has to gain 39 points on is sitting in 4th. Riley Wright is right there. So for all intents and purposes, this championship is going to go down to at least next week at Talladega, and super speedways have not been proven to be Aiden Norman's strong point. So if it's a poor finish for Norman next week at Talladega, the championship could go down to the final round at Homestead. There's still so many possibilities. Richie Catania holding on tough in lucky number 13 position, and you gotta love that fighting spirit as well. Noah Belleville finally catching up to within half a second of Aiden Norman. Here's the battle for the 2nd spot. Keeping an eye on the Seahawks and Cowboys. Seahawks are catching up to those Cowboys. It is 17-14. Dallas leading over Seattle with 2:50 to go in that second quarter. Landon, tell me about the parlay you put on these two teams tonight. I'm always interested to hear just what kind of bet you've got going on with these teams. It's always something awesome. Toby Estes still enjoying that 2.5-second lead. Drivers need to be thinking about pit stops within these next 10 laps. It's been caution-free for the last 60 laps. It's our longest green flag run of the race so far as race leader Toby Estes wiggles the car out of turn number 4. If that doesn't tell you just how worn these tires are, watch the hands in the 8. Listen to that. Richie Catania's gone around, Tommy Withers has gone around, and the caution comes out again right before pit stops, and the 6 car gets vaulted into the air. Caution is out on lap 113. There's Richie going for a big spin in turn 3. There you see the shadow of Tommy Withers just catching up to the 2-4. Keep your eye on these two. Well, and that's the most poor camera angle I've ever seen in my entire life. I apologize for that. Let's try this again. Look at Richie just out of control in the corner. Tommy Withers will come up behind him. Just lifts the rear end, and Briley Wright says, get out of here. And he lifts the 6 on board with Withers. And Thomas Andrews gets a piece of him too. And that brings out the most recent caution of this race. So Aiden Norman will stay out. He pitted on lap 14 with only a pits time of 14.62 seconds. Toby Estes will come out in the 3rd position. This is going to be fun. This is going to be awesome. I can't wait to see how this turns out, fans. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a 60-second break, and we're going to be back for more TNT for Martinsville. We're going to have less than 80 laps to go. Lights are out atop the pace car, and we're about to get racing again. And when I said we'd have fewer than 80 laps to go, I lied. We're going to have 82 laps to go, but I never get my numbers right. What else is new? Norman's going to have control of the field. Noah Belleville on his outside, and Toby Estes, who came into the pits with the lead, will now come out in third. 82 laps to go. Green flag is out. Belleville in second with 80 to go. Norman puts up the quickest time of the afternoon, 19:35, and the champ goes purple. Briley Wright just went green, 19:70. Still plenty of racing to go, and it's not. They're not good to go to the end yet. Drivers expected to go about 75 laps on one tank of fuel. They'd have to go 78 if my math is right here, so they're not guaranteed to be good to go to the end. And of course, if we have a late race caution, some drivers might favor tires. There's 8 cars sitting on the lead lap. JK3, Jimmy Kurt the third, running in 8th. Thomas Andrews in that lucky dog position with Cody Riggs behind him, fighting for that free lap back. And this time, seven drivers, it looks like, went green, putting in personal bests. Estes in the 8 trying to chase down Belleville. Norman with a 1 second gap. And what happened with Aiden Norman? Because before the first caution on lap number 50, he was dominant, 6 seconds ahead of the pack. The caution comes out. Toby Estes gets to a 3-second lead for the next 60-odd-some laps. Noah Belleville sitting in second, 4 tenths ahead of Toby Estes. 1 second behind the defending champion, Aiden Norman. I'm really interested in what makes the difference between those race cars. Looking at the Seahawks and the Cowboys, the 8-3 Cowboys on 4th and goal with a $1:40 to go in the second quarter. They're up 3 points on the 6-5 Seahawks. Toby Estes catching up to Noah Belleville. Cowboys marching up to the line of scrimmage, 4th and goal, and trying to score. Cowboys on the 3-yard line. They snap the ball. Prescott drops back, looks for a receiver. He's rolling out to the right side of the field. There's a flag on the play. Prescott's going to run for it, and he's going to get into the end zone for a touchdown pending on this flag, but it could be holding on the Cowboys, and it could be 4th and goal. And, yep, it is. It's holding on the Cowboys. So is it still 4th and goal? What's a holding penalty? Is that 10 yards? In any case, I have no idea what the penalty is for holding. I think it's 10 yards, but we'll see what happens. So then if it's 10 yards, it's going to be 4th and goal on the Cowboys, on the Seahawks, 13. Toby Estes, the only driver within 1 second to any other driver on the racetrack, according to the time charts. Estes trying to work on Belleville for second. Norman only able to get out to a 1.6 second lead. Belleville's going to hang on the wall and leave enough racing room for Estes, like a gentleman. Estes can't pull the move off of turn number 2, and Belleville survives in second. Cowboys are going to try for a 31-yard field goal. It's good, but there's another flag on the play. And look at Cody Riggs. It has not been his day. This Bluegrass Bandit really trying to get out of folks' way. And Brandon Fetterplace almost had a catastrophe. And Tommy Withers in the 12th spot almost runs into Fetterplace. That was wild. Let's see what happened to Cody Riggs. Five laps before Riggs, Richie Catania had an incident. Oh my gosh. No caution there. No caution there. 31 just gets hammered by the 2-4. And one more look as Matt Kent locks up the tires, sends it in deep, and Richie Catania sends it into Matt Kent. Oh man. So now Tommy Withers all over the back end of Brandon Fetter Place. That's not for position. Cody Riggs looks like he's lost control again. Nope, he keeps it this time. Let's see what happened to Riggs, though. This would be 4 laps later after the Kent and Catania incident. Just too much wheel out of 4. And he says hello to that inside safer barrier. And watch this. Keep your eye on Fetter Place. Matter of fact, let's go to the cockpit. That's just close. That's just close. Great timing by everybody involved, but that was some really close stuff there. Noah Belleville has a 1-second gap between himself and Toby Estes. Aiden Norman has a 2-second gap between himself and Noah Belleville. Cody Riggs just slams into the wall. And the 3 car with more trouble. Riggs is going to bring it into the pits. Fetter Place has Kerr creeping up on him on board with car 7-5. JK3 in the 75 trying to catch up to Fetter Place. Norman only half a second now ahead of Noah Belleville. What happened to Aiden Norman in this last lap? Keep your eye on that 6-2. Was there an error on Norman's part? Because Belleville just turned on the jets and just caught up to him like nothing. And this is in the last few laps. Belleville is there. Estes also there. Norman now on extreme defense. Drivers last pitting here on lap 114. And they should be good to go to the end on fuel, but it will be extremely close. And that doesn't even say anything about the tires either. One, 2, 3, 6, 2, 4, 1, 8, all within half a second of each other as Toby Estes gets into the wall, drifts the 8 car through turn number 1. Noah Belleville gets to the inside of Aiden Norman. Here's your fight for first. Belleville wants a piece of that 6-2. Estes wants a piece of the 4-1. Norman now trying to break back out. You see the gap now 4/10, just about. Belleville in the 41. He seems to be getting closer, but where does Estes fall in all this? 3 seconds behind them is Tom Sears. If there's contact here, the 14 Supra then has to prepare himself to make a pass. It's all so tight. Belleville really breaks short. He invites Estes right up to his rear bumper. And Belleville still trying to catch up to that 6-2. 51 laps to go next time by. The Bluegrass Bandits going for 4 consecutive wins. It would be this man here, Toby Estes. Further on back, Briley Wright could get his 3rd win in a row. 4th straight win for the Bandits, but it just doesn't look likely with the speed Briley has carried tonight. Aiden Norman, the defending champion, trying to clinch this title either tonight or next week at the Talladega Super Speedway. We're going to find out. And Noah Belleville, the part-time driver, just sneaking up behind that 62, or is he waiting? Belleville finds himself 16th in the point standings, 3 wins this season with an average finish of 5th. This is going to get good. Estes has overcooked it. Toby Estes in the wall in turn number 2. On lap 151, Toby Estes just misses his mark. Belleville, no pressure from behind. He has free reign to attack car 62. The 2-time and defending champion, Aiden Norman, now trying to hold off the native of DeSoto, Missouri. Noah Belleville going for 4 wins this season. Estes is in. Here comes Toby Estes. That could be his race. And the hopes of the Bluegrass Bandits now will rest on Briley Wright in 4th. Only in 4th by way of Toby Estes coming into the pits. Norman now coming up behind Matt Kent, the 3-1 Budweiser Chevrolet on the outside of car 62. And looks like Matt Kent almost came down on that 6-2. That would have been something to talk about. Toby Estes leaves the pits. He's in the 8th position, about to go 2 laps down. There's race leader Aiden Norman. 9/10 of a second, the gap between Norman and Belleville in the 41. Kent on the outside makes way for Belleville in that 4-1. Ryan Pennell, the native of Norfolk, Virginia, now looking to get around the race leader and defending champion. He wants one of his 3 laps back. Pennell up the left-hand side of car 6-2, and he's got the spot. One car smoking. Is that Richie Catania? It could be Catania. He's spun it plenty. He's locked up the tires in all sorts of places tonight. That Nicorette Chevrolet just holding on for dear, dear life. Aiden Norman still in front, but Noah Belleville within 3/10. 41 laps to go next time by. Car 41 looking to spoil the single season record party. If he gets the win here, Aiden Norman will be on what I think is his longest drought in 3 seasons, or in 2 complete seasons. But now I'm interested, because Aiden Norman did not do a lot of dominating last season. Not as much as he has this season, let's be honest. I mean, well, he did get 7 wins. So he won almost half the season. So I guess you could say he did dominate the season. But I'm interested to know, how long has Aiden Norman gone winless since winning the Season 5 title and the Season 6 title? If Norman fails to win this 4th consecutive race, it will be one of his longest winless droughts in at least a couple TNT seasons. And that really just says a lot about the caliber of driver that he is. He's just out here consistently putting in record-breaking performances. Looking at the Seahawks and Cowboys, it's 1st and 10 for Seattle. 13 seconds to go in this first half. Seahawks on the Cowboys' 30-yard line. Trying to go big and get some points on the board before the half. Big throw down to the end zone. It is caught, and that's going to be a Seahawks touchdown with 7 seconds to go. Flag on the play. And it's a Seahawks touchdown, a throw to the left end of the end zone. And we'll see what the flag says, but Seahawks looking to go up ahead of the Cowboys into the locker room at halftime. Aiden Norman, half a second ahead of Noah Belleville. Do they have the fuel to go the distance? One driver who certainly does have the fuel to go the distance is Toby Estes. He pitted on lap 153. And it looks like it's going to be this penalty. I think they're going to try and call pass interference on the play. But at the same time, I don't know that Seahawks receiver had possession of the ball. It looks like his elbow came down, then the ball hits the ground, but that ball is halfway out of the grip of his elbow. That does not look like a touchdown to me. We're going to see if this one gets called back. Aiden Norman, 0.3 of a second still ahead of Noah Belleville. Toby Estes came down on lap 153. He's got enough fuel and he's got fresh tires to go the distance. Last time around, Toby Estes, 19.75 seconds. Aiden Norman, 20.54. So Toby Estes currently outlapping Aiden Norman by 0.75 of a second. This time, Norman, 20.64. Toby Estes, this time around, 19.84. So that's a 0.4 of a second difference. With 32 laps to go this time by, I don't know if that's going to be enough to get back in the fight for this lead. But if these drivers don't have the fuel to go the distance, well, that could be a different story altogether. Norman ahead of Belleville by only 0.25 of a second, and Belleville continues to squeeze the pressure on Aiden Norman. The ruling on the field was a touchdown. They're going to see, they're going to review this play, obviously, as it's a scoring play, and they're going to see if it is indeed going to remain a touchdown for Seattle. Belleville in that 4-1, just being patient. Let's ride on board with the 4-1 and take a look at his hands. Sounds like Norman is saving fuel. Have a listen. Norman is cutting in that clutch. He is cutting in the clutch and trying to save fuel. Look at that. There it is. It tells you just in the bottom right-hand corner, he goes into neutral through the corner. Belleville looks like he's opening up the door. Norman going into neutral in the corner trying to save fuel. Norman doesn't have enough gas to make it. If Belleville continues to pressure that 6-2, he could force a mistake, but again, Norman, keep watching the numbers flick back and forth. He goes from 4th to neutral, from 4th to neutral. Cody Riggs has gone around. Where's Riggs in the 3? He spun out of turn number 2. Doesn't look like any other contact, and Cody Riggs will jump to the pits. Here goes Aiden Norman on the outside of Thomas Andrews. Again, back into neutral in turn number 3, as opposed to Noah Belleville, who's still riding it out in 4th gear. And now you've got to ask, is it enough of a difference where Aiden Norman continues to shift into neutral? Is that difference enough for him to save the fuel needed to get to the end of the race? 24 laps to go at Martinsville. Season 4 champion Thomas Andrews, he's in the pits. Aiden Norman moving at 61 miles an hour through the corner, shifting between neutral and fourth. How about Toby Estes trying to unlap himself? He's the lucky dog. He doesn't need to force the issue, but will Norman let him go by? He has to. Estes is just way too quick. "22 laps to go, and if Aiden Norman does not have the fuel to win this race, he must pit before it's too late and hope for that late race caution. If Norman has sufficient fuel to go to the end, he's fine. With the time that Toby Estes is putting up on the track, it won't be quick enough to get to Aiden Norman. Toby Estes is 19 seconds behind Aiden Norman, and that last time around he was only 0.6 of a second quicker. He's got to hope that Norman's a little bit slower or that Belleville doesn't hold him up. Pass for the lead. Missouri's Noah Belleville gets to the inside of North Carolina's Aiden Norman. Belleville continues to blink, but Norman has to give up the top spot. New leader, car 41. I'd love to keep that camera on Noah Belleville, but he blinks every lap. There goes Tom Sears getting out of the way. What happened to the 14? This is the two-time champion in turn number 4. Oh, just came in way too hot. And he gives a little Tokyo drift to that Supra. Watch him hit the gas, get out of the way of the leaders. Waiting for everybody else to go by. Here come the leaders. He slams the gas, sacrifices his own car so he doesn't spoil the battle for the lead. Noah Belleville, 17 to go this time by. Has he saved the necessary fuel? Keep your eye on that bottom right-hand corner. Does he shift into neutral? He does not. Aiden Norman barely shifts into neutral into the corner. Does Norman have to save the necessary fuel still? Oh, look at that. Norman going into neutral well before turn number 3. Norman again going into neutral, headed into turn number 1, trying to save even more fuel. 15 to go this time by. Toby Estes only 16 seconds behind Aiden Norman with enough fuel to make it. He's going to get around Brandon Fetterplace and gain more points. Briley Wright is in third, only 14 seconds behind Aiden Norman and running 0.3 quicker than Aiden Norman. Norman again shifting into neutral in turn number 3. 13 laps to go next time by. What a finish this could be. On the edge of your seats now. Fetterplace is in. The rookie is in. This is third place in the points. Brandon Fetterplace. James Kerr up to 4th. I'm sorry, James Kerr in 5th. Toby Estes up to 4th. 1.5 seconds behind Briley Wright. He also pitted on lap 114. Every driver in the top 7, except for Toby Estes in 4th, has yet to pit and is not guaranteed to make it on fuel. Look at Aiden Norman getting loose out of the corner, and the gap now extends to 1 second. Briley Wright, 13 seconds behind the defending champion, but not making any appreciable time. 10 to go next time by. Aiden Norman holding on to what has now become a very slim 61 points at the top of this championship. Shifting into neutral to save fuel because he does not have the guaranteed fuel to make it to the end of this race. 75 to 85 laps is the expected pit window. Aiden Norman last pitting on lap 114. He would need to go 86 laps to make it to the end on gas. 8 to go. When's the last time you saw this Haas paint scheme in victory lane? How about that 8 car of Toby Estes or the 2.9 of Briley Wright? Fans at home, if you love any of these paint schemes that you've seen, head on over to Drip Diecast and Collectibles and grab your piece of NASCAR memorabilia now. Your favorite diecast, your least favorite diecast, for your least favorite person, it doesn't matter. There's still time to shop for the holidays. Get on over to Drip Diecast and Collectibles on Facebook, your #1 Facebook store for all your favorite NASCAR diecast and collectibles. Drip Diecasts and Collectibles on Facebook. Get on there and get your piece of NASCAR memorabilia now. Briley Wright, just ahead of Toby Estes by 0.4 of a second. The Bluegrass Bandits going for 4 straight wins, but it's this guy here, Noah Belleville, who's got a 3-second gap to Aiden Norman. Is Norman still saving fuel? He is. He's shifting into neutral in turn 1. 5 laps to go, and they're being asked to go 86 laps on this tank of fuel. It seems impossible, but we'll see. Thomas Andrews to the inside of Noah Belleville now. He cooks it really hot. Belleville has to go up the racetrack. 4 laps to go. Some smoke in the air. Did one car spin? Estes still not passing Briley Wright. Does he want the points for Briley? Toby coming into this race trying to get more points himself, possibly get into the top 3. He's only 17 points outside the top 3. Briley Wright only 61 points behind Aiden Norman, and the gap between them 9 seconds. Not enough fuel, or does he have enough gas for the last 2 laps? Noah Belleville 4.2 seconds ahead. Aiden Norman sitting in the 62 car. Is he still shifting into neutral? He is, but he's got less than a mile to go. And it's this kid, the part-time driver with an unstable internet connection, showing up to Martinsville at all places, and no matter what happens, it's a race. Noah Belleville, 16th in the point standings, coming to play spoiler for Aiden Norman's victory run. It won't be record-setting for Aiden Norman, but it will be shocking for Noah Belleville. He wins round 14 at Martinsville. Aiden Norman comes home in 2nd place. Briley Wright will come home in 3rd with Toby Estes behind him. And DeSoto, Missouri's Noah Belleville getting the win at Martinsville. The part-timer does it again. Fans at home, don't go anywhere. We're going to have top 3 on the podium in just a moment. on the podium now with our top three. A thrilling race at Martinsville down to the wire. And we thought it was going to be fuel strategy that saved the day, and it kind of was, but still some exciting racing all around. Let's start with not last week's winner. I keep saying last week. The winner of the last two races, tonight's bronze medalist, Briley Wright. Briley, great job tonight. We were going for 3 wins in a row and 4 straight for the Bluegrass Bandits, but tonight we were just a little far away.
Yeah, I just didn't have any speed going through the corners. It felt like a long race. So when you're fast here, it's like the race goes by so quick. But when you're slow, it's just so miserable. And everything honestly just kind of fell into place for me to finish third. I definitely didn't have a third place car. There's a lot of people faster than me out there, but like I said, everything fell into place. Feels good. Just move on to Talladega where anything can happen, and feels good to just get out of here with the third and stay second in points.
Unofficially, as the points roll, it's going to be a 65-point gap headed into Talladega. It's going to take a lot for Norman to clinch the championship next week. And of course, anything can happen. A great race for you would mean that the championship goes down to the very last race at Homestead, Miami. TNT 7 is far from over. Congratulations on that bronze medal. We'll see you in a week.
All right. Thank you, Rick.
Dobson, North Carolina's Aiden Norman. It's not often that we get to say this, but he came in second place tonight. 7 wins and still joint record holder with Tom Sears. Aiden, so close to a win.
Yeah, that was interesting. I didn't realize I needed to save until probably 20 laps in or so to that last run, and Moldy was saving the entire time, so props to him because he definitely caught me off guard with that and was able to just kind of walk away.
Still a thrilling race. You managed to come up with a silver medal, and now next week at Talladega, you've actually got to work to defend your title.
Yeah, I mean, I know to some people it might sound surprising, but from my point of view, just seeing how much quicker everybody's getting pretty much every single week, I mean, part of it is, them just wanting to chase me down, want to be better, and that's kind of the mindset of a race car driver, and that's making it a whole lot of fun for all of us to kind of race here together and everyone getting quicker and coming back up towards me instead of me just walking away from the field every week is really awesome to see.
We're going to see a lot more action next week at Dega. Congratulations on your silver medal.
Thank you, Rick.
4 wins this season for DeSoto, Missouri's Noah Belleville, part-timer, and he just keeps on surprising us all. Kid, when are you going to go full-time in TNT? You could make a run for the championship.
I ask myself that a lot. I always think I'm going to do it, but then it just, I don't know. Something always ends up coming up, and then I miss a race, and it's kind of hard. It's tough to run a full schedule. I give these guys props for running full-time schedules because it's a lot harder than it seems.
Absolutely. No, the 16 races, and 16 races is a lot to ask for. Now, granted, we did have 2 breaks in this season, but it is a big commitment, and definitely something that is required to win that title. But nevertheless, 4 wins this season, and next week at Talladega, we're going to go for 5 in a row. Or I'm sorry, not 5 in a row, for 5 wins this season. And if memory serves, at Daytona, you ended up on top.
Yeah, the plate tracks and the drafting tracks have been pretty good for me. I think I've let's see. I don't know. I've
You
won
finished
the
you finished no
majority
worse
of the
than
ones that
second.
I've-
First at Daytona, second at the new Atlanta configuration, and now next week at Talladega, we're going to find out.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been doing pretty good at the plate tracks, so I'm pretty excited for Dega.
We'll see you in a week's time. Congratulations on the win.
Yep, thank you.
Fans at home, while the TNT semifinal gets ready to start next Thursday night at the Talladega Super Speedway, the next gen action keeps rolling on. Monday night, ENEA goes to the Charlotte Motor Speedway road course, and their playoffs continue. So we'll see you there Monday night, and then next Thursday night, more 700 horsepower Gen 4 action at Talladega. And until that next race, everybody please stay safe. Do take care of each other.